Pictures don't do justice. Not even a little.
Welcome guys to the last rendition of this GTR rebuild video series that we've been doing here. This has been one of the most exciting collision repairs and customizations of a car that I think we've done. We're really excited to share all of it with you guys in this video. We're going to go over all the details of the build from start to finish, all the little nuances of what we had to do to achieve this quality, and this awesome paint job on this car is really what makes this shine. Let's get into it. Beginning with the collision repair aspect of this car, the car was in a front end collision where it pulled out into the street and another vehicle clipped the front end, catching basically the front frame rails and nearly ripping them off of the car. So in this situation, the insurance company did decide to deem the vehicle a total loss, and the owner of the vehicle had sentimental value attached to it. So they wanted to retain the vehicle and pay us to repair the front end of the car and also go above and beyond on painting the rest of the car. So it's important to think about when you think about total loss and whatnot, like, was the car destroyed and is it a piece of junk now? No, it's not. Insurance companies play games based on dollars and cents, period, end of story. Of course, you have instances where there's an obvious total loss where the car is demolished and it is a piece of junk, but in this instance, the parts are so expensive on this car, which we'll get into in another video about the front bumper, that when you added everything up, it just didn't make sense for the insurance company to actually fix this car. It made more sense for them to pay the customer out and go that route. So anyway, customer decided to retain the vehicle and pay us to fix it. So collision repair process was remove the entire engine out of the car, straighten the dimensions of the frame rails, cut the old frame rails off, jig new frame rails back up onto the car, 3D measure that with all of our sophisticated measuring equipment, make sure everything is placed perfectly to the millimeter, weld the new frame rails in, and it's important to note, all of it is done within factory specifications. So we pulled the Nissan service manual, we cut and we welded everything back as Nissan instructed is supposed to be done on this car. So it is a high quality repair. The vehicle does retain a salvage title, but that's just letting somebody know that this car's been through something in the past. And I think these people are gonna hang on to the car for a long time, so that's not really gonna matter. Once we got that done and the engine back in, it was time to tear the whole car down and basically do a complete paint job on it. So if you've been watching the series, you can see that we pretty much gutted this car down to a shell. Not really like a rolling chassis, but with the engine in and the interior in. And we changed, I'd say, about 90% of the color on this car. So engine bay, under hood, inside the door shells, all the jams, everything got this one-of-a-kind chameleon color. Let's talk about the color for a minute. When we decided to do this with the client and everything, I said, well, if we're gonna do it, let's do something special. Because we're gonna go through all this work, we might as well do something one of a kind that nobody else has. So they put me to work. They wanted some midnight purple aspect to the color, yet we wanted to make it a little wild, a little flashy. So what we did, this is a 4-stage custom color that was hand mixed, and I believe it to be the only one in the world. I can't reasonably think that somebody else has came up with this color in another way, I guess you could say. So it's got a base layer of a dark black violet, and then it has 4 coats of a top layer of multiple different pearls that we have in PPG Enviro base, and I even sourced them from somewhere else to get the flop characteristics. So we have 4 coats over the top of that dark black violet, and what you get with this color is really exciting. It looks different in every single light that you see it in. Under fluorescent lights, the whole thing is popping and changing as you move around it. But outside in the sun, or outside in normal driving conditions, it just has more of a subtle black, purple. The sun will hit it and it'll turn red. At a really hard angle, it'll turn orange, and it even flops green on some angles. So I think what's really cool about this color for the client is that they're gonna be surprised for months to come when they're enjoying their car and they look at it in the garage and it looks one way, or they're enjoying the car and they're out to a car show at night and the light is glistening off of, the street lights is glistening off of it, or they're out in the sun and it's got a totally different look in every single light. And anyone who's seen this has been blown away by the color. Very important thing to note, paint versus wrap and all that kind of stuff. Paint is a higher quality and longer lasting way of going with a color. You are able to achieve higher gloss and higher depth levels, so it looks like you can kind of dive into it, and you can eliminate your orange peel when you're dealing with paint, which is what we did in this car, and it gives it a much different look. Another thing you can achieve with paint that is more difficult to do with wraps is you can achieve a perfect color match and transition between the panels. If you have been watching our series and looked at the paint process that we did, we went to a long extent to make sure that everything on the car was hung on the car, from the front bumper to the rear bumper to these sail panels right here, even to these door handle surrounds that right here are the body color. All of that stuff was installed on the car when we applied the color to make sure that we had a perfectly smooth transition of this color from quarter panel to bumper, and you literally cannot tell a difference in any light because it was laid down that way. And when you have a wrap, you just don't have the liberty to do that because you're cutting pieces and doing panel by panel. Another thing about the paint is we do have an accent color going on with this paint job. So we did a very dark, almost black violet pearl to bring that dark purple that they wanted into it and to accent and play off of the other things on the car. So the roof, the mirrors, these pieces of the handles and the buttons right here, the badging, and the hood scoops, and lower part of the rear bumper are all this accented violet color. We do also have carbon fiber playing into it on the front bumper. The side skirts are in carbon fiber, and the trunk is in raw exposed carbon fiber. Upon getting all the painting completed and color sanded and polished and all that stuff, this paint was so beautiful and perfect. I was just having a nervous breakdown about the customer picking this up and driving it down the road and a rock chip happening because you can't touch this color up. So talked to the client. I said this car really needs paint protection film. So we had a sublet vendor come out, and they literally wrapped the entire car in paint protection film. It took them a whole day, and they had about 5 people on it. It came out really nice, but I think the saying that I'm going to go with from now on with paint protection film, after I've been through it with so many cars, is you are trading protection for perfection. And we spent, I don't even know how many man hours we spent getting this paint like glassed out and just looking nearly perfect, 99.8% perfect. And when you put the paint protection film over it, it has a good gloss, it has a good shine to it, it protects it really well. It has self-healing properties, so if it gets swirls and stuff, it'll heat up and those will go away. But to a really trained eye, and if you look really close, it doesn't have the flatness and the depth that the raw paint would have. But if you want your car protected, that's definitely a good route to go. So whole car wrapped in PPF. And then it came to our detail portion. I did not get paid to do a nice detail on this car. I did not charge the customer to do a ceramic coating on this car. I did not charge the customer to take the wheels off of the car, polish the wheel barrels of the car, and ceramic coat the wheels. But that is what sets us apart. We want to over deliver on the things that we do. So we did a full ceramic coating on the entire car, one PPF specific ceramic coating, and then another coat of a different ceramic coating over the top of that with cure time in between. Like I said, took the wheels off, detailed them inside and out. I just want this customer to get the car back and it be shockingly like a brand new car, basically. I don't want to under deliver on something just because I wasn't getting paid to do it. That's kind of how we roll. I think one thing that makes us stand out in our builds apart from the rest is that we pay attention to the smallest of details. So in the process of repainting this, various VIN tags and labels and all that kind of stuff was removed from the car. But we did get all of it remade. As you can see, we have an OEM VIN tag here. And then all over these Nissan GT-Rs, you will see they have these tiny little VIN tags hidden on every body panel, I presume for anti-theft reasons and whatnot. But you can see that we replaced those after paint here on the fenders. On the front bumper, VIN tag to this car. You can see we have one on the hood. We have our OEM emissions labels, and I believe that's an engine oil change label. But those are just strewn throughout the car, and it's just one small example of probably the thousands of details that we went through on this car. We inherited this car from multiple wrap shops that had taken the whole thing apart and then put it back together. And we had drywall screws holding on the rocker panels. We had wrong nuts and bolts all over the place, loose stuff, stuff that looked like it was glued on with caulking that you would use in a house, or drywall mud or something. We went the extra mile to make sure that we corrected those things and brought it back to as close to OEM or better than OEM if possible. So yeah, a big part of the repairs that we did and what made this car was really cool was the customer opted to go with a Nismo front bumper. And I don't know if they would do it again if they knew everything that was going to entail in that. But the whole front bumper is made of carbon fiber. There are multiple different pieces that were required to buy to make the bumper work with the car, like an undershield, the grille, the running lights, multiple different things to make that bumper work with the car. But it gave the front end a really unique look. You don't see Nismo GTRs out there anywhere, and it's super high quality. You could buy a knockoff, but the quality, the fit, the finish, none of that is going to be up to the right standard like this one is. So. Jake.
You know, most of the footage this morning is just gonna hurt my feelings. She'll get it, see? Chumley!
It's not Chumley. Stop making your stupid recordings. Bruh, that looks crazy. And then it's right. I can see that. Pictures don't do justice. Not even a little bit. I'm not gonna lie. I really didn't notice the bumper. I was just looking at the paint job. That shit's hard. I could care less about that.
Bumper really sets it off.
No, the paint does.
Well, you know, it all plays well together. I had the light set up because it looks so different in so many lights. Like if you turn it off, everything's just a little more subtle.
A little more than awesome. I don't think there's words to describe it. Dude, just that right there looks so.
You gotta walk around it to really. For months, you have to look at it to take it all in.
I really want you to PPF it. Nah, we're good.
Huh?
When you were like, I want you to PPF, or let's PPF it, I'm like, that'll be okay.
I'm gonna be straight with you. The paint looked even more perfect before the PPF because the PPF has like imperfections, it has a little orange feel to it and stuff.
And
but
you can't even tell
you're trading perfection for protection. You want to protect. Yeah, thank you guys for watching the entire series. If you did, if you didn't, go back and check that series out. This is one of the coolest collision repair builds that we've done. Make sure that you're subscribed to the YouTube channel right here and so follow along. I don't know what's next as far as builds go, but I know that we're going to continue doing cool stuff and continue pushing the envelope and continue trying to put content out there and value for you guys. I've heard some of our followers suggest some more technical type videos, so we're definitely working on that. And I hope a new build video will be coming to you guys soon. I'm not sure what that is yet, but we're working on it.